Alright, welcome back to Mommy and Mama's Sourdough Masterclass. This is part 2. We just finished up part one. Now your sourdough should have rested just after mixing it up for about 45 minutes to an hour. This has been sitting here for a little over an hour. Did some cleaning, did a little bit of exercise. A little bit over an hour is probably a little bit overkill, but no big deal. Before we start kneading this, which is the next step, I'm going to go over a couple of things. I'm going to put this back up here for now. I'm going to take this towel. I'm going to go over some kneading skills. Okay, so start off. Imagine this is the dough. Right, it's sticky. You put your hands on it. It's getting everywhere. Right, again, key is confidence in this one. We're going to go over something called the slap and fold. This is probably the most beginner-friendly kind of way to knead a dough. Again, if you've read my website, you pretty much any type of movement with that dough will knead it. Right? It doesn't have to be this way, but this is a really good starting point. Right? One other resource to take a look at this is French Guy Cooking on YouTube. He's actually what I watched to start my sourdough too. So essentially, we're going to take our hands, I'm going to flip this that way, we're going to take our hands this way, we're going to pick it up, right? We're going to turn it over, and then with this side, we're going to slap it, and then fold it over. Alright, so I'm going to turn it this way, we're going to go 90 degrees, we're going to pick it up underneath, pick it up, right, turn it, and slap that bottom down, and then we can give it a little pull, and then fold it over. Right, again, you're going to take it, you pick it up, right, slap it, fold it over, pick it up, slap it, fold it over. Right, we'll get this dough going too. I do need my bench scrapers. These are really important. These will help pretty much in any kind of baking you do. This one I use to scrape the dough out of the bowl. This one I use to scrape the dough off of my work surface. This one can be used for a work surface too. I just like the metal sound. Put those right there. I'll bring this down. Now, this is optional, but after I take my dough out of my bowl, I'm just gonna put the plastic wrap over there. We'll keep using it, don't throw it out. I like to wash my bowl and just scrape it all down. And immediately you'll notice how sticky it can be. It's pretty warm in my house right now, so the warmer it is, the more sticky it will be. If you live in a hot and humid place, it might be tough. But if you live in a cold and dry environment, then it might be a little easier. Alright. Scrape the rest out of here. Collect all the dough that we can. Alright. Scoop that off. Alright. Alright, so we got that going. I'm gonna throw you in there. I'm gonna throw this in the sink. Because again, I like to wash mine. You don't have to, but I feel like it makes it less sticky in the long run. Up to you. You can let your dough sit and relax there for a little bit. First things first. We'll take our salt. Pour our salt all in there. And then this is why I recommend using a bench scraper. With your bench scraper, I'm just going to pick up one side, fold it over the other. Pick up one side, fold it over the other. And all the way around from top to bottom. This is going to seal all that salt in so it doesn't go flying out when we start mixing it. Seal all that salt in. come flying out. Don't get too aggressive just yet. Okay, see how much it sticks to my hands. Sticks to the bench scraper, not a big deal. Starting with this, I'm pretty much just gonna start incorporating the salt this way. I'm not really kneading it right now. Pretty easy, pretty simple movements, just picking up one side, folding over the other, moving it around, picking up one side, folding over the other, and again, any movement will need it, no doubt. So even this slow process will need it. And this whole kneading process will take, depending on how fast you knead, between 5 to 15 minutes. This dough feels pretty soft right now, so it might take a little longer. Alright, make sure that salt's getting incorporated, it's dissolving into that dough, into that water. Alright, almost done with this. I don't see any salt on the board, that's looking good. Alright, get some of the salt. Again, it will be sticky. Don't worry about it, just scrape it off, throw it back in the dough. Not a big deal. If you have not seen an Instagram profile called The Tasteless Baker, he does a lot of bread stuff, bakes a lot of stuff. And the funny thing is he does, when he starts kneading dough, he says it'll be really sticky, but don't be a baby about it. Yeah, just pick it up, handle that. Alright, it's getting pretty good. Alright, then we'll go over it. So, slap and fold. Again, we're going to put our hands under, we're going to pick it up, slap one side, fold it over. Under, slap it up, fold it over. Under, turn it, slap the bottom, fold it over. Slap the bottom, fold it over. Pick it up, under, slap the bottom, fold it over. And once you get really good at this, go a little faster. See how much more structure that's taking? Take care to pick it up, give it a good slap, stretch it out a little bit, then fold it over. Again, key is confidence. If we're picking it up, we're kind of doing this kind of thing, it's going to stick a lot. Get really sticky to our fingers, we can't fold it over. Gotta get used to it. It took me a good while to get used to it when I started to. It was super sticky, didn't want to do what I wanted it to do. All that goodness. Once you feel pretty confident, you start doing a little more advanced stuff. Again, any kind of movement is movement. Any kind of kneading is kneading. Notice how much structure it's getting now versus when we poured it out. Poured it out, looked like a shaggy mess. Now it looks like a real dough. It shouldn't be too long, but I'm also pretty fast with it. Know what I'm doing. I'm mixing it, doing whatever I gotta do, turning it to the side, turning it around. Every now and then I'll mix in a couple slap and folds too, get a little more structure. See, a couple slap and folds, it's already back to this. Alright, take my bench scraper. Pick up all this dough around there. It's looking pretty good. No doubt. So while we're doing this, one thing you can do to see how ready your bread is, how ready your dough is when you're kneading it, is called the window pane effect. It's essentially when the gluten in the dough gets strong enough, you can stretch it out and it won't break. Essentially, I personally go by feel. I've found that when I knead it to the point where it can do the window pane effect, it feels like it's kneaded too much. It's really stiff, it's really hard, it feels like you can't really do much else. So I just pretty much go until I feel it's good. Alright, and we'll get there. We'll go for another couple minutes, starting to feel really smooth. Right? and super sticky. You can tell it's sticking to my hand really well. I'm just moving it. Alright, not really caring. Again, it's warm here, so it'll be a little more sticky than usual. Take my scraper, scrape some of that off. Gotta turn it to bread. Already smells like sourdough too. Like it's starting to smell really good already, which is great. It's what we want. Alright, we want the whole house to smell amazing. Alright, we'll just keep going. Go a little more. Do a couple more slap and folds. Get some nice structure going on it. Hope they don't fling any bread anywhere. Alright. See how smooth that's getting. Alright, so let's see. Let's cut a chunk off. Alright, so super sticky. Not a big deal. Just stretch it out. So the window pane method is when you stretch out your dough, right, and it doesn't break. You can see the light through it. I don't know if you guys can see that much. That's pretty good right there, right? Pretty good window pane effect. You can see the light coming through it, right? Stretch it out a little more, still hold together. I've got a couple holes on one side, not a big deal. That's pretty good. All right, it's kind of about where we want it. Again, I don't always trust that method. But it is a good way to actually know how kneaded your bread is. Alright, so we're just going to pick it up, get it all together again, probably do another couple slap and folds, give it a little more structure. Again, if you're doing this just on a countertop, then you don't really need to worry about a board slipping at all. But for example, when I'm doing it on this board, my board's kind of slipping this way just a little bit every single time, so I'm just making sure it's not going to fall off. Last thing we want is our precious sourdough going on the floor, ruining a couple hours of work. Alright, I'm going to leave it there. Scrape some of this dough off. Go clean out the bowl that we had in the sink. Alright, go wash your hands off, clean out the bowl, we'll come back. Alright, so bowl is clean. Use your scraper, pick up the dough, slap back in there, and then cover it with our plastic wrap. Alright, so now dough is kneaded. It's time for the proofing stage. And so for a good 4 hours, if not more, generally I do a little more. What time is it currently? It is currently 12:50 for me. I'd say we go until 5 or 6 probably. So good 4 or 5 hours. After the first hour, we're going to fold this. After the second hour, we're going to fold it again. Third hour, again. After that, we're just going to leave it be. We're just going to let it rise. Again, 5 or 6 hours, 4 or 5 hours, depends. You want to see this dough at least, I guess, raise half the size. Not necessarily double. It doesn't have to double. It's not a big deal. But we want it to expand. Do you want it to get bubbly? After the first hour, probably won't see much of a change. After the second hour, probably we'll start seeing it expand, right? Every time we fold it, we want to just knock out all of that air in there. Third hour, same thing. It'll start expanding a little more, get more bubbles. After the third hour, we won't touch it. We'll leave it to expand. It'll get big, and then we'll pre-shape it after that. So, again, just to summarize, we're going to leave it for a good 5 hours, give or take. After the first hour, see it's 12:50 right now, so 1:50, I'll come back, we'll fold it. All right. At 2:50, we'll come back, fold it again. 3:50, one more time. And then after that, we're just gonna let it sit. All right, we'll come back around 5:50, 6-ish, and we'll punch it, we'll pre-shape it, and then we'll put it in this little basket. All right. So for now, we're just letting it sit. It's gonna hang out. I'm gonna wash up. I'm gonna get a little more dough on me.
While we're washing a couple of things, just wanted to say that is pretty much the kneading episode, the second episode of our sourdough masterclass. After this episode, the next one is going to be focused on the proofing stage. And this proofing stage, just to go over it really quick, will take 4 to 5 hours, give or take. Sometimes it can take less, sometimes it could take more. I generally go on the more side because I like to let my sourdough really sit and really proof. But we'll get into that one in the next episode. For now, if you have not checked out my website yet, it has in-depth details and guides about all of this sourdough stuff, everything that I'm talking about. Do go check it out. It has a lot more information. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next episode.